The arrogant arrival, the first sign that Earth's quiet. Tuesday was about to become the most important day in human history, came at 1437 GMT, when every deep space monitoring station on the planet simultaneously detected the same impossible reading. Commander Sarah Chen was reviewing quarterly defense reports in her office. Beneath Cheyenne Mountain, when the emergency klaxons began wailing through the facility's reinforced corridors. Commander Chen, to Operations Center. Immediately, the intercom crackled with barely controlled panic. Sarah dropped her coffee mug, ignoring the spreading brown stain across her desk, and sprinted toward the blast doors that sealed off humanity's most classified military installation. Her keycard granted access to levels that officially didn't exist, spaces where the world's most brilliant minds had spent 5 decades preparing for exactly this moment. The operations center buzzed with controlled chaos as technicians hunched over holographic displays showing data that should have been impossible. Lieutenant Morrison, Sarah's aide, met her at the entrance with a tablet displaying readings that made her blood run cold. "Ma'am, we've got multiple contacts dropping out of what appears to be faster than light travel. Distance, approximately 2.4 million kilometers beyond lunar orbit. Number of contacts, ... double quotes, swallowing hard, 1,437 distinct signatures." Sarah's mind processed the numbers with the cold efficiency that earns her command of Earth's most secret defense network. Over 1,400 ships appearing simultaneously in their solar system could mean only one thing. This wasn't exploration. This wasn't diplomacy. This was conquest. She moved to the central command console where Dr. Marcus Webb, the brilliant scientist behind Project Prometheus, was already coordinating with tracking stations worldwide. "Talk to me, Marcus," Sarah said, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what they were facing. "What are we dealing with?" Dr. Webb's fingers danced across his console, pulling up 3-dimensional projections of the alien fleet. Each ship appeared as a glowing red icon, arranged in a formation that spoke of military precision and overwhelming confidence. "The lead vessels are massive, Sarah. We're talking about ships that dwarf our largest carriers. The formation suggests they're not expecting any resistance whatsoever. They're advancing in a parade formation, not a battle configuration." The tactical implications were clear, and Sarah felt a grim smile tug at the corner of her mouth. After 50 years of preparation, hiding their capabilities, allowing the galaxy to view Earth as a primitive, helpless world, the moment of truth had finally arrived. The aliens had made their first and potentially fatal mistake. They had underestimated humanity, sir. "We're receiving a transmission," communications specialist Rodriguez called from her station. It's in English, ma'am. They've been monitoring our broadcasts." Sarah nodded toward the main screen. "Put it through. Let's hear what our visitors have to say." The screen flickered and resolved into an image that would have been comical, if not for the circumstances. The alien commander was tall and imposing, with 6 arms arranged symmetrically around a torso covered in elaborate ceremonial armor. His skin was deep purple, marked with intricate scarring that suggested either ritual decoration or battle experience. Most striking were his eyes, 4 golden orbs arranged in pairs, radiating the kind of arrogance that came from conquering dozens of worlds without meaningful resistance. Primitive inhabitants of the 3rd planet, the alien spoke, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. "I am War Marshal Kethver of the Zephyrian Empire. Your world has been selected for integration into our domain. We have observed your species for your local time measurements of 50 rotations, and we find you adequate for service. Sarah exchanged glances with her team. 50 years of observation meant the aliens had been watching since the early days of Project Prometheus, but they had clearly missed the most important developments. Their surveillance had focused on civilian technology and public military capabilities, completely failing to detect the revolutionary defensive systems hidden in plain sight across the globe. The alien commander continued, gesturing grandly with his multiple arms. Your resistance would be futile and unnecessarily destructive. We offer terms of surrender. Your leaders will be preserved for administrative purposes, and your population will be relocated to more suitable worlds for labor. Assignments. You have what you call 1 hour to respond with your unconditional capitulation. The transmission cut to black, leaving the operations center in tense silence. Sarah looked around at her team, seeing the same mixture of determination and anticipation. She felt rising in her own chest. They had known this day would come. They had prepared for it, planned for it, and now they would prove that humanity's greatest strength had always been the ability to appear weak while growing strong. Marcus, initiate Protocol 7, Sarah commanded. Contact Admiral Volkov and tell her to begin Phase 1 deployment, and get me a direct line to every hidden installation on the planet. Dr. Webb's fingers flew over his console as decades of secret preparation began to unfold. Around the globe, installations that appeared to be research facilities, mining operations, and communication arrays began their transformation into the most advanced defensive network ever conceived. Orbital platforms that had masqueraded as weather satellites for 20 years powered up weapon systems that operated on principles the aliens had never encountered. Meanwhile, on television screens and communication networks worldwide, the carefully orchestrated human response began. Government officials appeared before cameras, their faces masks of terror and desperation as they begged for mercy from the alien invaders. Emergency broadcasts urged civilians to evacuate major cities, creating scenes of panic and chaos that reinforced the illusion of a defenseless world caught completely off guard. Captain Jake Rodriguez, piloting one of Earth's most advanced starfighters, smiled as he watched the performance from his cockpit hidden within what appeared to be a decommissioned military base. His ship, sleek and deadly, was completely invisible to the alien scanners that swept across Earth's surface. Along with 200 similar craft, he waited in perfect concealment for the signal that would reveal humanity's true nature to the galaxy dot, high above Earth's atmosphere. The Zephyrian fleet continued its stately approach, War Marshal Kethver, reviewing deployment plans for what he assumed would be a routine planetary conquest. His tactical displays showed a world defended by primitive chemical rockets and kinetic weapons, populated by a species barely capable of interplanetary travel. The intelligence reports indicated that humans had not even achieved faster-than-light travel, making them decades behind even the most backward civilizations the Empire had previously conquered in the operations center. Sarah watched the alien formation with the patience of a predator waiting for prey to enter the perfect killing ground. Every ship position was tracked, every movement analyzed, as the most sophisticated defense network in galactic history prepared to demonstrate why humanity had spent 50 years appearing helpless while becoming the most dangerous species the universe had ever encountered. The countdown had begun, and the Zephyrian Empire was about to learn the costliest lesson in their history. Never mistake human caution for weakness, and never assume that a quiet world is a defenseless one. The deceptive comm aboard the Zephyrian flagship Dominion's Fist, War Marshal Kethver lounged in his command throne, 4 golden eyes, scanning tactical displays with the lazy confidence of someone who had conquered 47 worlds without encountering meaningful resistance. Sub-Commander Irialthas approached with the latest sensor reports, his movements betraying a nervousness that his superior had learned to ignore over their years of service together. War Marshal Irialthas began, his voice carrying a note of caution that immediately annoyed Kepha. The deep scans of the human homeworld are ... curious. Their technology appears even more primitive than our initial assessments suggested. Chemical propulsion, crude nuclear reactors, and no evidence of energy weapons beyond basic plasma applications. Kepha gestured dismissively with 2 of his arms, while the other 4 remained folded across his armored chest. Curious, I call it fortunate, Sub-Commander. The Empire grows stronger with each easy conquest. These humans will provide excellent workers for the mining colonies, and their world's resources will fuel expansion into the next sector. On the planet below, the performance that would secure humanity's survival was reaching its crescendo. President Martinez appeared before emergency session of the United Nations, her face a perfect mask of desperation as she pleaded for international cooperation in the face of humanity's greatest threat. Behind her, advisors shuffled papers with trembling hands, while military officials spoke in hushed tones about evacuation procedures and surrender protocols. We must face the reality that we are technologically outmatched, President Martinez declared, her voice cracking with what appeared to be barely controlled terror. Our military experts estimate that resistance would result in the complete annihilation of our civilization. I am therefore authorizing immediate preparation of surrender terms. The broadcast reached every corner of Earth, and more importantly, was intercepted by Zephyrian monitoring stations that dutifully relayed the intelligence back to the fleet. War Marshal Kepha nodded approvingly as his communications officer provided updates on human capitulation preparations. The species was behaving exactly as expected, recognizing superior force and submitting without the tedious necessity of actual combat. 3,000 kilometers below Earth's surface, in a facility that had never appeared on any official blueprint, Commander Sarah Chen coordinated the most complex military deception in human history. The underground complex stretched for dozens of kilometers in every direction, connected by transport tubes to similar installations on every continent. For 5 decades, the greatest minds in human science and engineering had worked in absolute secrecy, developing technologies that would have seemed like magic to outside observers. Phase 1 deployment is complete, Dr. Marcus Webb reported from his position at the Central Coordination Console. All orbital platforms have assumed active configuration but remain in stealth mode. The gravitational lensing arrays are operational, and quantum disruption cannons are fully charged. Admiral Volkov reports that Battlegroup Alpha is in position, behind asteroid designation 2157X7, completely invisible to alien sensors. Sarah nodded, watching as tactical displays showed the Zephyrian fleet moving into what they clearly believed was an optimal attack formation. The aliens had arranged their ships in a classic Conquest pattern, massive dreadnoughts at the center, surrounded by cruisers and destroyers in concentric rings, with fast attack craft forming an outer perimeter. It was a formation designed to project overwhelming force against a helpless enemy, perfect for breaking the will of a primitive species. It was also the worst possible configuration for surviving what humanity was about to unleash. Marcus, what's the status on Project Prometheus? Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer from years of preparation and testing. All systems green across the board, Dr. Webb replied, unable to completely hide his anticipation. The gravity manipulation arrays have been online for 18 hours, building charge in the quantum storage matrices. When we activate, we'll be able to generate localized gravitational fields equivalent to a collapsed star, but focused into surgical precision. Captain Jake Rodriguez, still hidden in his advanced starfighter, monitored the alien fleet's movements through sensor networks that the Zephyrians couldn't even detect, let alone understand. His craft represented the pinnacle of human aerospace engineering, a fusion of breakthrough physics and innovative design that could accelerate to near speed in seconds, phase through solid matter, and deliver weapons that operated on principles the galaxy had never seen before. All Raptor Squadron units, this is Raptor 1, Jake broadcast on heavily encrypted channels to his fellow pilots. Enemy is maintaining parade formation. They're not even bothering with proper defensive screens. This is going to be easier than the simulations, high above Earth. War Marshal Kethfer reviewed final Conquest protocols with his fleet commanders. The plan was elegantly simple, a demonstration bombardment of empty land masses to prove their power, followed by occupation of major population centers. Resistance would be minimal, casualties would be light, and the Zephyrian Empire would gain another productive world with minimal effort. Initiate descent to bombardment altitude, Kethfer commanded. All ships assume firing positions. We'll give these humans one final demonstration of our power, then accept their surrender. The massive alien fleet began its final approach, ships moving with stately precision into attack formation. On countless worlds across the galaxy, this same sight had preceded the end of countless civilizations. The sight of Zephyrian dreadnoughts descending through atmosphere had broken the will of species far more advanced than humanity appeared to be. In the operations center, alarms began chiming as the alien fleet crossed the boundary that triggered Earth's final defensive protocols. Sarah felt a surge of anticipation that she carefully kept from showing on her face. After 50 years of preparation, the moment had finally arrived to show the galaxy what humanity could accomplish when given time, motivation, and the absolute necessity of survival. All stations, this is command, Sarah announced across the global defense network. Initiate final phase. All units, you are authorized to reveal full capabilities. Show them what humanity can do. Across Earth's surface and throughout the solar system, installations that had appeared harmless for decades began their transformation. Weather monitoring stations revealed themselves as the camouflaged housings for weapons that could tear holes in reality itself. Mining operations disclosed their true purpose as the foundations for defensive systems that operated on revolutionary principles. Communication arrays shed their innocent facades and emerged as the coordination nodes for humanity's ultimate expression of technological superiority. War Marshal Kethfer stood in his command chamber, supremely confident that the next few minutes would add another easy victory to his already impressive record of conquest. The humans below appeared to be in full panic, their military forces in complete disarray, their leaders preparing unconditional surrender. He had no way of knowing that he was about to face the most technologically advanced defensive network in galactic history, operated by a species that had spent 5 decades perfecting the art of appearing weak while becoming unimaginably strong. In less than 60 seconds, the Zephyrian Empire would discover why patience, ingenuity, and the determination to survive were humanity's greatest weapons. The trap was set. The prey had entered the killing ground, and Earth was about to announce its arrival as a galactic power in the most dramatic way possible.